Good evening. Welcome to Grace Baptist Church this fine Thursday evening. Tim, if you would open us in a word of prayer and make sure the light is green before you start. And open us in a word of prayer if you would.
Great. So Lord, thanks for the day. Thank you for what we got done. Thank you for the kids getting their school done and the men working their jobs if they need to work. And let's get some out of the sermon. Is your will. Amen.
Amen. All right, Bibles above your heads. We're going to start. We're going to have intermixed sword drill. So you never know when a sword drill is going to happen. And when you get to it, go ahead and stand up. Wait for the microphone to come to you. We're going to try to work on this so that Brother Dyer can hear your amazing voices reading the Bible. Bibles above your head, Genesis chapter number 19. Genesis 19, verse 27. Charge! All right, Anna. Genesis verse 19, verse 27.
And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord.
All right, and Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before the Lord. I want you to back up just a couple verses behind. I want you to notice something. The Bible says, the sun was risen upon the earth when Lot entered into Zoar. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the city, that which grew upon the ground. I'm telling you, folks, there is something that is special about waking up early in the morning. God had given his warning to the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. He had told them what would happen. You remember the bargaining that went back and forth between Abraham and God, even between Lot and God. And Lot, you would think that Lot would have gotten smart, that he would have wanted to get as far away as he could from Sodom and Gomorrah. But God woke up early in the morning and he rained down fire and brimstone upon that place. And then we notice an interesting thing. Abraham woke up early in the morning and he stood where God was. I want to preach to you a message. I want to talk to you, maybe bring out some points about how I believe that God smiles on people that wake up early in the morning. We've all heard that phrase, maybe as people have said, early to bed, early to rise, makes one healthy, wealthy, and wise. Can I tell you, just waking up in the morning doesn't make you healthy, it doesn't necessarily make you wise, and it won't necessarily make you rich. But can I tell you, I believe that there is something special that if you sleep in, you will miss. Now, I understand there are people that they have to sleep a little bit later. Maybe moms, they've been up all through the night trying to take care of babies, or sometimes older people have to sleep in a little bit longer. They don't get going till a little bit later in the day. And none of this is to disparage against people who, because of whatever thing going on in their lifestyle. But can I tell you, let me finish that thought. None of this is to disparage people who, because of whatever thing that's important in their lifestyle, they need to wake up a little bit later. And that's okay if they need to. But can I tell you, there are some young, able-bodied people that ought to be waking up early in the morning. They ought to be going to bed at a decent time and not watching YouTube until 3 in the morning, or not being on Facebook or Instagram or whatever else people are on, watching whatever it is, and not being able to wake up in the morning. But there's something special. God, when he was going to get out his judgment, God decided, I'm going to do it early in the morning. Abram, when he said, what's the first thing that I'm going to do? Then we find him meeting before the Lord. Bibles above your head. Genesis chapter number 22. We learn a certain principle about waking up early in the morning in Genesis chapter number 22, verse 3. Genesis 22, verse 3. Charge! Yes. Adam?
And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of God had told him.
Very good. To the place where God had told him. Now get the picture here. And there's different ways of reading this, but I want you to look before. The Bible says there in verse 1, it came to pass after these things, after Abraham had planted the grove in Beersheba and sojourneyed in the land where the Philistines were. It's after this time that God did tempt Abraham. It means God wanted to put Abraham up to, go ahead, pay attention up here, wanted to put Abraham up to a test. And so he said this, take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And notice the Bible said this, and Abraham rose up early in the morning, and again, went out and to do that. I want you to catch a couple things. We don't know exactly how God spoke to Abraham. It could have been that the night before, Abraham was asleep, and God decided, that's how I'm going to talk to Abraham. I'm going to talk to him in a vision. He's going to have a dream. And notice this, Abraham woke up early. Now, I don't know about you, but sometimes when there's things that we don't like to do, we like to put them off, right? How many of you like to clean your room? First thing you do, you wake up in the morning and you think, I am going to clean my room. Other people, maybe they, what's the chore that you hate the most? How about from the Quaker kids? What's the chore you hate the most? Huh? Sorry, not Quaker kids. Cane kids. Cane children. They had kids today. The goats had kids. They are Cane children. All right, from the Cane children, what's the job you hate the most? Picking up the feces from the dog in the yard. You would think that with all that we can train dogs to do, that you would be able to train them to do that. But how many of you think that's pretty high up on the list, you know? You had to think, I wasn't even thinking about that. I remember the time when I was a young person, and that was part of our job. But can I tell you, when you wake up first thing in the morning, is that the first thing you think, you know what? I'm going to get up, and I'm going to go out to the yard, I'm going to pick it all up, and then it'll be all done. You know, some people think that way. But a lot of people think, man, if we could just let it collect, and we wait until the last moment where mom says, get out there and pick it all up. That's another job we don't like to do. Stephen? Vacuuming. Yes, I know this. Nobody likes to wake up first thing in the morning and go vacuuming. You don't wake up first thing in the morning and think, guess what? If I could just vacuum. But you know, a lot of things we don't like to do, we don't choose to do them first. And then we learn an important principle, that Abraham, he was so obedient to God. And even though it wasn't something that he wanted to do, he didn't delay. And the Bible says he rose up early. He knew that in order to get that thing accomplished, there were some things that were going to happen beforehand. Can I tell you that when we go out there and God has told us to do something, maybe it's coming to church. Have you ever thought about this? How many of you on a Sunday morning, you roll out of bed about 9 o'clock and just kind of throw something on and wander off to church and get there about 9:45. Can I encourage you on a Sunday morning to get up? Now, you don't have to get up early like Pastor Steve. Pastor Steve gets up really, really early, probably too early for anybody out there. But you know, you could wake up early on a Sunday morning, and maybe you could get yourself ready for church, and maybe you get other people ready for church. And then when something unexpected happens, like you accidentally drop a gallon of milk all over the the kitchen floor. Maybe you're just about to walk out the door, and what happens is you just happen to accidentally catch your skirt on something and it tears, and you have to go in and change it. Have you ever thought, if you woke up early, if you got prepared, what the house of God could look like on a Sunday morning? Can I tell you, a lot of God's people are sleeping in. A lot of God's people are showing up just in the nick of time, sometimes a little bit late, but just in the nick of time. And Abraham, the Bible says, he rose up early. It wasn't something that he wanted to do. Nobody wants to take their son out to a mountain and potentially have to end his life and have to trust in God. The Bible says that what was going on in Abraham's mind, the wheels that were turning, is that if God wanted my son to die, then God's going to have to raise him from the dead. And Abraham believed God strong enough that he could do it. And so first thing in the morning, the Bible says that he rose up early in the morning. And again, he saddled his ass. He took his 2 young men with him and Isaac his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place which God had told him. Now I understand there's this principle in Proverbs about rising up early and blessing your neighbor. I understand that you're not necessarily supposed to wake other people up, but Abraham wasn't afraid to get other people involved in his morning, to wake other people up, to wake up his servants and to wake up his son. And can I tell you, I understand, again, the prohibition, the warning, rising up and blessing your neighbor. If you wake up in the morning, you don't have to wake your neighbors up. They're a different house. They're different ways. You don't need I know a man, you'll probably never guess who it is, who likes to wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and begin to play his music. And the people in this apartment can hear him, and the people in this apartment can hear him, and the people in that apartment can hear him. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that the idea here is that Abraham wasn't afraid to get other people involved in his morning, getting other people serving God with their morning. I want to encourage you to get other people involved in a morning. Genesis, Bible's above your head. Genesis chapter number 28 and verse 18. Genesis chapter 28 and verse 18. Church! You got to be there, Johnny, on the spot. Green light. All right, Adam again. Very good.
And Jacob rose up early in the morning and took the stone that had put for his pillow, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil upon the top of it.
Very good. And Jacob here had a vision. He had revelation from God. If I could say it this way, God interrupted Jacob's sleep. How many of you, and I understand there are times where we need to sleep in because we have been up all night. You ever had that, an emergency happen? I've had emergencies happen. Maybe you have to go to the hospital. Maybe a baby was born in the middle of the night. And it's important to get our rest. And we understand there's situations like that. Do you know there's situations every once in a while that happen that we lose a little bit of sleep? Not our whole night's not ruined. We did get some sleep. Here he has to have a stone for his pillow. But I want you to notice there in Genesis chapter 28 and verse 18, the Bible says he rose up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put for his pillows and set it up for a pillar and poured oil on top of it. And then obviously the Bible would go on and explain. He called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of the city was called Luz at first. Bethel meaning the house of God, and he was making a memorial unto that. If God allows your sleep to be interrupted, and you get back to sleep, and you get some good sleep, and he obviously was sleeping pretty good because he fell asleep when his pillow was a stone. Can I encourage you, young people? Get up early anyways. Don't make up an excuse, I was busy doing this, or I was busy doing that, or I had a bad dream and I woke up, or whatever it is. If your sleep gets a little bit interrupted, go ahead and get up early in the morning. You can do it. You can serve God early in the morning like Jacob did. He did something special. He didn't wait till the end of the day. He didn't say, after work, here's what I'm going to do to serve God. Bible's above your head. Bible's above your head. Exodus chapter number 8 and verse 20. Exodus 8 verse 20. Church. Deborah.
He that feared the word of the Lord among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses.
And what verse did you have?
9:20.
Oh. Exodus 8:20. Church. Adam.
And the Lord said unto Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Lo, he cometh forth to the water, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go, that they may serve me.
Very good. Thus saith the Lord, let my people go that they may serve me. Get the picture here. God says, I want you to go. I want you to go down to the water. Now, how many of you in the morning, you wake up and you go into the bathroom and you wash your face, maybe you brush your teeth, have to go to the bathroom? How many are like that? No? No, me and we're the only ones who have to go to the bathroom and brush our teeth and wake up in the morning. And one other person out there. Well, understand, we all have business we got to do out in the morning. And I believe that God kind of had a sense of humor. I'm not trying to read between the lines, but Pharaoh, he's going out to the water. He's going to do whatever Pharaoh does out in the water. And here's what I want you to do, Moses. I want you to be out there when he goes there. Now, can I tell you one of the things in this life that is more disturbing than just about anything is getting to the bathroom in the middle of the night when nobody is supposed to be there. Or maybe it's early in the morning. Maybe it's 4:45. Maybe it's 4:30. And nobody is supposed to be there. And lo and behold, somebody's there. And it interrupts. And you have to wait to go to the bathroom. You have to wait to take your shower. You have to wait to wash your face off. I know it's only 30 seconds, 60 seconds, but you just don't want to wait. You just imagine, Pharaoh, I don't know if Pharaoh was a rushed, had to get things done guy, or if he just wanted to kind of relax and get ready by the water, whatever he needed, whatever he was doing by the water. God says, no, I want you to go, Moses. I want you to wake up early, and I want you to interrupt his day. I want him to be thinking about me all day long. Can I tell you that if we wake up in the morning and we listen to whatever it is, God's voice, that we'll be thinking about that throughout the day. Sometimes I have a hard time. I get up early and I get to thinking about things and I get to trying to get things done, and I forget to listen to the voice of God. The voice of God sounds a lot like Alexander Scourby. Sometimes it sounds like James Earl Jones reading the words of God so that I can hear them. And when I hear them, it allows me to be able to think of them. It allows me to be able to, my day, I'm able to hear different things, and then I'm able to filter them through what I heard that morning, what I was thinking about. Can I tell you that God wanted everything that Pharaoh thought about to be thought about in light of these words? Let my people go that they may serve me. And so maybe he's talking to the taskmasters, and they're saying, yep, these Hebrews, they're just not outputting the kind of output that they're supposed to be. And he would hear those words echo in his head. Let my people go that they may serve me. Let my people go that they may serve me. I wonder what would have happened if Moses would have decided, no, God, I've been busy, and this Pharaoh thing, it's all wearing me out, and I just need an hour more of sleep. I need to take it easy this morning. God, I don't have to work. I'm just a preacher, because preachers don't have to wake up early and work or do anything. And so why don't you just let me go? Why don't I go bug him at lunchtime? No, God says, I want you to go out early. Early in the morning. Bibles above your head. Bibles above your head. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 14. Some people's life verse. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 14. Charge! Proverbs 27:14.
He that blesseth his friend with a loud voice, rising up early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him.
Yep, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse for him. Can I tell you a warning? Okay? There are people that aren't morning people. Or maybe there are people that are morning people, but this is just not their morning. Can I tell you one of the most powerful things I believe that God gives us? And yes, there were times where God wanted interaction in the morning. God wanted Moses to go wake up Pharaoh early in the morning. God wanted Abraham to get his crew together early in the morning. Do you know what I see a lot of times? Did I say the wrong name? I didn't say Moses. I said Moses, not Noah. Do you know what? One of the most powerful things in the morning is the fact that it's just you and God. It's just you and the work that God wants you to accomplish. It's just you. And you know what? When you wake up early and you get that collateral damage going on, you woke up that other person before they were ready to wake up. The Bible says you might say, "Good morning, sunshine. How's it going?" And you know what they hear? They hear a curse. They hear, I'm not going to say bad words, but they don't hear the happy, cheerful nature of your voice. I believe that God allowed us to be able to wake up early, to be able to spend time with Him, to be able to spend time in our work, not drawing crowds, not waking people who don't want to be woken up against their will. And so, young people, I do want to encourage you, if there are people that need to get their sleep, if there are parents who need to get their sleep, if there are younger children who probably shouldn't be waking up that early, let them sleep. Don't rise up and bless them. Don't curse your mother or your father. And finally, I want you to look at one very important verse. Bible's above your head. Bible's above your head. Mark chapter number 16 and verse number 2. Mark 16, verse number 2. Charge! Deborah.
And every early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun.
Mark chapter 16, verse 2. And very early in the morning, the first day in the morning, the first day of the week, they came to the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. As God works in your life, and as you develop this habit of rising early, maybe like they did here in Mark chapter 16, can I tell you what I believe that God will do? God is going to give you special encounters with Him, maybe even before the sun rises. Times where He's going to meet personally with His people. He rose on the first day of the week. I think that's an amazing thing. They went to find Him. He wasn't there. And they found Him later. On the road to Emmaus. I wonder how early in the morning they began to speak with Jesus and how far into the day. Just an amazing thing. I know we've joked. I know there's a lot of sideways things, and I certainly personally love waking up early in the morning. But I believe that there is Bible precedent and Bible principle and Bible promise that if you'll commit to waking up early in the morning, rising maybe while it's not quite day, the sun hasn't risen yet, committing that time to God. I don't mean you got to wake up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning and read the Bible and pray on your knees with rocks underneath until the sun breaks. But if you'll give God the first part of your day, and you'll allow God to say, God, you go to God and say, God, what do I need to accomplish today? And what can I do right now before I'm entangled with talking to anybody else? What can I do right now before the cell phone starts ringing? What can I do now before anything else happens? Can I tell you that there's an amazing thing I believe I've experienced in my life? I've heard testimony in other people's lives. God will do great things, and God will allow you to accomplish great things. I've heard it said by a friend of mine. He says, you know what? I think I get more done before 10 o'clock in the morning than most people get accomplished in their whole day. And I believe it. Gentleman who runs a company. And often, every once in a while, I'll look at the cameras at the place where he works, and 4 in the morning, I'll see him trying to, from his own admission, I don't believe he's a believer. I don't believe that he knows the Lord. He knows of the Lord, and he certainly knows that God wants him to turn in faith toward Him. I'm going to give you this testimony. As an unbeliever, he realizes the value of rising up early and accomplishing things. Can I tell you how much more if he'd put God first and then ask God that simple question, God, what do you want me to do today? What do you want me to do today before I talk to anybody else? What do you want me to do today before I text, before I email, before I, again, talk to somebody else? What do you want me to do? And I believe if you'll ask that question to God honestly, you'd be amazed at the things that he says. You need to do this before you make human contact with anybody else. You need to write this letter. You need to accomplish this task. Maybe for some of you, you need to cook this food before anybody else wakes up. You need to clean this mess. Whatever it is, I want to encourage you. There is Bible precedent. There is Bible promise. What was the third thing we said? Precedent, promise, and principle. Abraham got up early in the morning. Abraham rose up early in the morning. Jacob rose up early in the morning. The Lord told Moses, he said, rise up early in the morning. David in 1 Samuel would rise up early in the morning. God would give us the warning about rising up early in the morning in Proverbs chapter 27. And when they would rise early that first day of the week, Jesus himself would reveal himself to his disciples in a very special way that I believe he still wants to do in the year 2021. Rise up early in the morning. Father, I'm so grateful for your people. I'm grateful for these young people that have listened, and I pray that this idea of rising early in the morning when we are capable, and then allowing you to be able to give us good sleep in the evening because we've risen early and we've filled our day with the things that you want us to do. Oh God, help us to get a hold of that principle. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Lord bless you. You are dismissed.